Hey guys, here is the outcome of the outfit we shall be making today. This corset blouse, I personally call it a multi-purpose blouse. You could rock it with a fitted pant, with a palazzo pant, with a pencil skirt, with a gathered skirt, a flare skirt, any other gown you want to rock it with, it will look perfectly good on it. This was how it was looking on me personally. Yes, this is how it looks on me. I'm definitely going to be wearing this dress for this coming Sunday. Last week I uploaded a video on how to cut this corset blouse, where a lot of my subscribers were asking for the full video, so I decided to bring a full video from A to Z. This one you don't need to watch the videos separately. They are all packed together, from the drafting to the cutting to the sewing to the styling and to the fitting, everything in one. What I so much love about this dress is the fact that I don't need to wear any bra. Oh my god, I'm not wearing any bra, and this is the interesting thing about this dress. There is no bra cap in this dress. It is structured to contain the boobs. It is reshaping and redefining the boobs into a very perfect shape. Don't forget to follow the same process and get the same outcome for yourself. Oh my god, you cannot underestimate this dress. This dress, I mean, is everything you need. It's everything. Definitely get this dress in your wardrobe. Let's get started. This is the Ankara fabric I'm going to be using. This is 2 years, my 2 years lining, my elastic, and my daughter's stiff interface. Here I'll be marking my starting line as well as my shoulder line. And for my vertical measurement, I'll mark my bust point, my under the bust point, my waist point, and my hip point. After that, I'm just going to be going ahead to put all these points into a square form. Here, I'll mark my shoulder divided by 2, mark my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches here. I'm going to be making a line this way. This line here is my chest line. I'll connect it this other way. I'll come here, mark 3 by 3 as my neckline. Here, I'll come down by 1 inch. I'll connect it to this point, which is my shoulder slope. Here, I'll divide my armhole by 2. Mark it here, come in by half an inch and make a connection this way. Here, mark my back circumference divided by 4. I'll go ahead and connect it that other way. Here, I'll mark my nape to nape divided by 2. I'll come over here and also mark it here. So my nape to nape divided by 2 was 3 inches. Here is my bust line, my under the bust line, my waistline, and my hip line. I'll go ahead and come to my under the bust line, mark 1 inch on this side, 1.5 inch on this other side. Here, I also mark 1 inch here, 1.5 on this other side. I'll go ahead and connect it vertically this way. I'll come here and step down by half an inch, go ahead and connect it this way to that half an inch, and then this other way to that half an inch. Over here, because it's an off the shoulder brush here, we have to be taking that part of the shoulder we are going to be taking off. It depends on what you want, okay? If you want to take away 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, depending on the amount of shoulder and chest you want to expose, that will influence the number you should go for. But for me, in looking at the style we got our inspiration from, I'm going to be taking off 5 inches as off my shoulder. From my shoulder line this way, I'll just step down by 5 inches and I'll make a straight line this way. Once we are done marking our off the shoulder line, from here let's come in by 2 inches. After that, we just make a line this way. Then from that line, we will come out by 1 inches and connect it to this other way. So this is our upper bust tightening. Here I'll step down by 1.5 inches and connect it to this way. Over here, you can be creative. If you want a sweetheart neckline, wherever you want, just work your way around it. This line here is now a chest line, just as I said. I'll go ahead and divide my chest circumference divided by 4. I'll mark it to this point. When I get to where the dot is, I'll stop, pick it again, and continue the marking from where the other dot leg started. I'll make sure I mark wherever I'm getting this way, whether it is going outside or inside, wherever it ends, mark it there. This way, mine was exceeding our armhole line, so I have to go ahead and redraw my armhole. Okay, so this is how it was done. So we don't need this part any longer. Here, let's mark our waist circumference divided by 4. We make sure we add the dot intake at this side. We come to the hip line, mark our hip circumference divided by 4. Also add that intake as well. All we need to do now is to go ahead and connect our points. Here it's very pointy. Let's go ahead and blend it. Over here we step down by 2 inches. Come here and mark half an inch from the bust point and mark it. This is our bust dot. Since it's our waistline, we step down by 3 inches and make a curve to this point to get our basque effect. Over here, I'll just go ahead and extend that line. That way, we are now coming to draft the back. Once we are done extending our chest line, let's go ahead and divide it this way to now work on the back pattern. At the front pattern paper, this is our waistline, which will now correspond to the back. waistline being here. But because of this bust dart, if we go ahead and use the same waistline, at the end of the day, you will realize the back is longer than the front, which we don't want. So we need to close up the bust dart. And in closing up the bust dart, we just need to cut it through this way. You don't need to cut it through to the bust point. Cut it close, but not through. Once we are done closing up our bust dart, we now have to go ahead and blend everything. Once everything is done, you can see that the lines are realigning at the back area as well. So this is our chest line, our bust line, our under the bust line, and our waistline being this. Okay, can you see it's not really aligned? At first, where we marked as our waistline, it's no longer a waistline after closing up the bust dart. Here on the front piece, at the waistline, we came down by 3 inches to create our basque effect. So let's come to the back and also measure from the new waistline 3 inches downwards to now create our basque effect. So this is going to be our hip line or our half length or our back line, which means we are not going to be using this line again. We don't need this line again, okay? Once that was done, I'll come here, mark my nape to nape divided by 2, which was 3. I'll go ahead and rule a straight line through. Come to my waistline, mark 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on this other side. After that, I'll go ahead and connect it to the hip this way, that way, and this other way. Once that was done, I'll go ahead and divide my chest circumference divided by 4. Come, mark it at the chest line. I'll move to my waistline, mark my waist circumference divided by 4, add my dart intake, which was 2 inches. I'll come to my hip line and divide my hip circumference divided by 4. Once I was done with that, I'll go ahead and connect all the points. But at this part, I'll use my armhole curve to draw out the armhole. All we need to do now is to go ahead and cut. At this point, I don't want the center back to be very straight. I want it to be a bit curvy. Make a little curve this way and cut it out. Please, if you want yours to be straight, that is cool, but I don't want mine to be straight. Once I was done, all I need to do now is to go ahead and cut every other thing out. So we're going to be cutting it here. Please don't throw away your yoke. Here I'll go ahead and realign the 2 pieces this way to redraw my back line. For the back line, if you go ahead and cut it straight away, you will find out one is longer than the other and there'll be a lot of discrepancies right there. Here's our center back, our side back, our center front, and our side front. For the sleeve, I'm going to be using this pattern paper. Yeah, this was why I said don't throw away this part of your pattern paper. I'm going to be measuring what we have there. That was basically 5 inches, right? Yeah, so that was 5 inches. Because we're going to be inserting an elastic at this part of our sleeve, so just go ahead and multiply that 5 inches by 2, which will now be 10 inches. The width of our sleeve is going to be 10 inches, but remember it's on fold. It means when we open everything up, it's going to be 20 inches. Because it's an off-the-shoulder dress and that 5 inches we took out, we're also going to be taking it out from the length of the sleeve. So I'll make sure I place my tape rule, taking away the 5 inches, and I'll go ahead and mark the length of my sleeve. After marking the length of my sleeve, I'll be adding 1 inch for the folding allowance. I'll go ahead and cut this out. Over here, I'll just bring one of the piece, whether back or front piece. I'll bring one of the piece, place it this way, and trace out that armhole as well. I don't want that side of the sleeve to be pointy and straightforward, so I also go ahead and give it curves. Once I was done curving it out this way, I'll go ahead and divide the hem of the sleeve into 1.5 inches, spread it this way, draw straight line through to the top, go ahead and spread it on my fabric piece this way. So here, if you want it to be very full, you could just spread it a bit small, but I think this was okay. I was using 2 yards of fabric. I wanted to make sure it was enough for that, so I went ahead and I cut that out. I simplified it to the extent that even if you've never sewn in your life before, after watching that particular video, you should be able to design this very outfit. Before we go ahead to sew, I want us to pad this particular dress. Here I'll go ahead and mark my under the bust line. From the under the bust line, I'm going to be going in by 3 inches. I'll mark my 3 inches here, make a line this way, come here and draw this line that way. So this is where I'm going to be padding Over here too, I'll find my under the bust, also mark it that way. The most important thing here is under the bust, okay? You could step up by half an inch from the under the bust to get that push up at your bust area, okay? With a pattern, you could go for the wadding, your breast foam, any other pattern of your choice. If you also want to use the bra cap, you are also free to do so. But in case you don't have any of this available, I'm going to be showing you a simple way to be able to get a standing bustier without necessarily getting a wadding, a bra cap, or any other breast padding. So let's go ahead and use a medium interfacing. So here I'm going to be placing a piece of my medium interface on it, and I'll trace out the line. You know, the interfacing is quite transparent, so I'm going to be tracing out the line that way. Since I've gotten the shape, I'll go ahead and pin it, turn it to the other side, and cut it out as it is shown. This is what I've gotten. Yes, because my center fronts are 2, I'll go ahead and duplicate the same thing. I will take it, place it on the other out. Here I'll just demarcate it to know where the bust point is going to be. And over here I'll just place this here, pin that, turn it over, go ahead and then cut that out as well. Okay, with the help of my seam iron, I'll go ahead and attach that to my facing fabric. After that, I'll arrange it this way, stitch, and also arrange it that way, and also stitch. I'll do same to the lining. Now this is the back. The back, I'm going to be arranging it this way. I'll stitch here, pin here, and also stitch there. That's for the back. I'll also do same for the lining as well. For my sleeve, I'm going to open it up. The hem of my sleeve, I'll be folding it by half an inch, and I'll stitch it all through. I'll also pick the other sleeve and do same also. Over here, I was done with the sewing. Here is my lining, here is my piece. Can you see how it's standing? Can you see how structured it is? The next thing is to go ahead and input our channels for our boning. So I'm going to be measuring from here to here. Wherever I'm getting, I'll go ahead and cut out this particular bias that I'll be using as my channel. I'll go ahead, since the sides are 2, I'll just go ahead and cut 2 pieces. This is for the side front, and at the center front, I'll go ahead and also measure that and cut the same length on my designer bias. This is the boning. For my boning, I'm using a regime boning or the sew-on boning. I'll also go ahead and cut the same side. Just that with the boning, I'll be cutting away 0.7 inches from the length of the channel, so it won't be popping up when I'm wearing it. Here at the middle, I'm going to be drawing a straight line here. Also sew my channel straight away. With the back too, I'm going to be cutting a boning channel for it, as well as the bone itself. Over here, I was done inserting all my channels. The next thing to do now is to go ahead and input all my boning. With the boning, make sure you prep it. You prep the end to end so it wouldn't be popping up when your customer or yourself wears the dress. Once I was done inserting my boning, I'll pick the front piece that way with the right side facing me, and also put the lining on it with right side facing each other. I'll stitch from here to here into there, and also come here and stitch this way to that way. At the back, I'm going to be putting them with right side facing each other. Yes, I'm going to be attaching an eyelet to this dress. When I was drafting the part, I didn't take away the eyelet allowance, so I'm going to be taking away 1.5 inches on this side and on this other piece as well. Once I was done cutting away, I'll stitch from here to here to there and to there, from here to here to here as well. Let's go ahead and work on the sleeve as well. For the sleeve, if I put this that way, you can see there were no allowances at the top part for the elastic folding, so I'll go ahead and trim it. It wasn't enough, I'll go ahead and trim it some more. Yes, can you see I have about 1 inch at the top part, so I'm going to be using that one as my folding allowance for the elastic. This is where I'm going to be inserting my elastic. Here I'll measure from here to there, cut that. I'll be cutting 2 pieces in case my sleeves are 2 elastic band, each of them 10 inches. I'll go to my sewing machine, fold it this way, and then stitch and go ahead and attach my elastic band. I'll come here, measure my wrist circumference, and then cut an elastic of that same length. I'll cut it out. I'll be cutting 2 pieces since my sleeves were 2. Once I was done with that, I'll just come to the hem of my sleeve, insert it into the folding I made earlier. So I'll go ahead and insert it this way. Just watch closely. Over here, I was done. I'll just go ahead, fold it and stitch from here and end at the armhole area. I also pick this other sleeve and do same. Alright, here I was done sewing all those pull up our loose, and this was how it was looking. For the front, I'll go ahead and open it up this way. I think my dress is already getting form, and I'm glad with the outcome so far. Yes, this is how it's looking. In the back, I'm also going to be turning the back to its facing side that way. Yes, I'll be doing same to the other piece of the back. I'll join it this way. Pick the ends, yes, at the hem area that way. Right side facing each other, facing fabric to facing fabric, and then lining to lining. I'll stitch from here to here, and then from here to this other side. I also pick this piece. I'll pick the other side of the dress. I'll pick the other side, place it the same way, right side facing each other, lining to lining, facing fabric to facing fabric. I'll stitch from here to here, and from here to this other side. Yes, once I was done, I'm back. If you realize your lining and the facing piece is not aligning, just try to trim it off. Make sure every other thing is aligning with each other. Can I blow your mind on something you think you know but you don't know? Okay, what I'm doing right now, am I pressing or I'm ironing? Can anyone kindly leave an answer in the comment section? What is ironing and what is pressing in the world of fashion? Anyway, if you're confused or you don't even know what I'm talking about, kindly check in the description box. I have a very detailed video there talking about the differences between ironing and pressing. Please, as a fashion designer, stop using these words interchangeably. They are not the same. Use the right words for the right action. If you don't know it, kindly try to learn a new thing today by checking in the description box to get an answer. Once that was done, I'll go ahead, pick my sleeve, the joining part of my sleeve. I'll attach it to the joining part of my armhole line that way. I'll secure that with pins, and I'll secure, yeah, over here. I'll do the same thing, seam allowance to seam allowance. Yes, that's very awesome. I'll come here, pin it again, come to this other side and pin it. I'll go ahead and stitch. The next thing is to go ahead and work on the eyelet. Here I'll mark 4 by 10 inches. I'll attach it to my medium fusible interface. I'll go ahead and cut it out. Here I'll stitch this end and also stitch this end, this side and this other side. Yeah, I'm done here. I'm just going ahead to trim off all the excesses. Next is to go ahead and turn it over to the right facing. At this point, I'm going to be selecting the number of eyelets I'm going to be using. I think per the arrangement, I'm going to be using 7. I'm going to be using 7 eyelets on each side. Before that, let me go ahead and trim off these excesses. Yeah, now let me go and insert my eyelets and get back to you. I'll mark here. From there, I'll mark 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. I wanted my corset to be snatchy, so I'm going to be making my eyelet close to each other. So over here, this was the outcome.